Well, hello everyone. This is Robin Carter, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator out of Flower Mound, Texas. And today I am here to share something out of the new mini catalog from Stampin' Up! It's from the January through April mini catalog. And so let's turn to the page. So today I'm going to be sharing with you the Enduring Beauty bundle, and I have also the masks. So I'm going to be sharing some tips and tricks of ways I have found to use this to make it easier. So if you have the catalog, it is on page 38. And as you can see here, let me pull it up a little bit. It includes the stamp set, which I have here, some nice sentiments, a nice big flower. Now notice the case says this is shown at 90%. So you may want to put that into consideration when you're holding up labels and stuff that may fit your sentiments. It has the masks, and they're over here to the side, which we'll be using, and then the lovely dies. Now, as I share always, some tips and tricks of how I store mine. So this is a 4x6 magnet, and those are a part of my favorite things. Now, my favorite things are things that Stampin' Up! Does not have in their online store or sell, and so they're just additional items that help me organize my craft room. And as you can see, they don't fall off. So I find these magnets are the best. They are in the description box of this video and many of my other videos. There are links to where I purchase these items. Now, I am an Amazon affiliate, so the links are safe. They are from Amazon. And when you use those links, I get a few pennies at no cost to you for recommending these products. So if you have or are going to use those in the future, thank you very much for supporting me and using those links. I do store the dies in the same sleeve. They're sent from Stampin' Up! And then I write just how many dies there are. Now, a new thing I started doing is right when I get them, I just throw them in my copy machine, make a copy. That way, if one is missing, I can look and see which one is missing. So that may be something that's helpful to you guys as well. All right, and then here it shows some samples of how they have used it. Here they use just the stamps only. It looks like they white embossed it. Here's the masks only. Now, I haven't played with that one yet, so I won't be showing that one. And here's with the stamp dies and masks. And so that's what I'm going to show you today, and let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is set up your, if you have a stamp positioning machine, I find this the easiest with all stamping, especially with a big stamp like we're going to be using. So let me get out my Stamparatus where I already have this. Oh, and I forgot to mention, that's why I put this here, so I wouldn't forget. Celebration is going on right now until the end of February, which is the 29th. It's a leap year. So for every merchandise total of $50 or more, you get to choose something out of this catalog. There are also some $100 items. Like my favorite one is this Softly Stippled right here. I've used this embossing folder a lot, and it's with a $100 total purchase. And then as of the 1st of February, they added some more items that are actually from the online store. So if you follow the link in my description box below, will be to my blog, and I will have a PDF that you can look at to see the additional items they have added. You can also look at the online store, go to specials, and then celebration, and it will show all of those there. And I didn't thank those of you who have subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much for your support. And if you're new to my channel, or maybe you've watched a few and have yet to subscribe, I would really appreciate your subscription. So let's get started. All right, as you can see here in my Stamparatus, which is the one that Stampin' Up! Used to sell, they're no longer able to sell it. I have the big stamp out of the Enduring Love stamp set, or Enduring Beauty. So right here. So I put it in my Stamparatus. I stamp it in, I make sure there's room enough for my negative. I stamp it right on the deluxe mat, and then I hover this directly over this image on my mat so that I can then tape that down. And this is where I'm going to then cut all my pieces. So this technique helps me save paper, one, and then it helps me line them up easily each time I go to stamp it. So as you can see here, I just cut, I've got a whole bunch of dies. And this envelope was part of my favorite things I store card components in. But you can see I've already stamped some, and I have some more that we're going to stamp today, just so I can show you. So this one you can just cut a whole bunch of white pieces, put them in there, and they sit perfectly. Now, yes, I first tested it in Mossy Meadow, and then I wiped it clear where I stamped it. So that's why it's green. We're not going to stamp in green. We're going to stamp in Memento Tuxedo Black. And I'm in the screen there. Now, one thing that you can use a stamp set to hold up your plate. That works well. I found that ink pads also work, the full-size ink pads. Okay, now I'm going to give this a good ink. I do like to do this in a stamp positioning tool. That way, if I don't get a part well, I can go right back in. So see, as you can see, that die sits right in there. And then I'm going to close it, and I'm just going to let that sit a second. To let the ink absorb into the paper. All right, let's see how that did. Okay, missed a little bit there, and I can see the ink still there. So maybe if I press, I can get more of that ink in there. Okay, and that's good. I'm happy with that. Whoops, let's see, right here, did I miss an ink spot there? Oh, okay, I must have not pressed there. All right, so then we have our image, and this is the hardest part to get out. You can use your take your pick tool, but isn't that pretty? And it's pretty easy. You can just stamp those over and over if you have those ready to go. So let me get my chamois, and I'm just going to clean this off. By the way, I found if you cut your paper, I think it's 4 5/8 longwise, and then you can get 3 down this side and 2 on the left-hand side. So you can get 5 from one sheet of paper out of that. I do like to do big images like that on a thicker paper. That way it just has its support on its own. Okay, now for our next step, we're going to be using the mask. Now I'm going to bring in my, well, I forgot the name of that thing. Hold on. Okay, this is the glass mat. That's the name of it. So I apologize for the reflections of my lights. I tried putting my lights on the side, and I just didn't think it was as bright. So if you can just ignore any reflections from my lights, that'll help. And I'll try not to do the image where the reflection is, so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is cut another negative piece. Now you want to make it big enough. Let me bring in the first mask. And yes, it's already colored because I've made one ahead of time. So there's a little notch here, and there's a notch on each one. So it's supposed to help you line up where this mask goes. So you want to make your negative big enough to where you can write that notch. So just a little bigger than the mask would be fine, which is, the mask is 5 by 6 3/4. So something like 7 1/4 by 5 1/2 would be good for this. Make a negative piece because that is what we're going to put our piece we just stamped in. Okay, and it helps that you can see these 2 leaves go there. Okay, and now we're going to get our first mask out. Now each mask is numbered. I don't think it really matters which order you do it in, but I'm just going to follow the directions. Now, the first time you set this down, you'll want to line it up and then use a pencil mark to make that notch. Now, I have found that it's not always perfect, in my opinion, so, but at least it gets your mask kind of in the right area. And then I move it along my image so that I can see it's centered. And then I have some repositional tape here, what I call washi tape, to hold it down. I also have some regular Scotch tape to hold it down. So that's our first mask. And so for this one, I'm going to use Real Red. Now I want you to watch, I've got a piece of paper there. Let's see if I can get that up. Well, hopefully I'll run my brush over it and hopefully it won't matter. So I'm going to use my full-size pad. If you have just spots, you may want to tap some ink on the glass mat or a block or something like that to have a little ink palette. Now to get it started, I'm going to go on the side here in my palette. And I'm also going to kind of start off the mask and just start brushing lightly. Now I do like how the red it doesn't quite look as red when you rub it lightly, but you can put as much ink as you would like here. I'm rubbing that one lightly because there is a second step. So then we can take this one off. And isn't that great? So I'm not much of a colorer, and to be able to put color on this stamp that fast is so nice for me because it's just, like I said, I'm not the best blends color, but I really am liking this. Okay, so this is number 2, and it's going to get the leaves. Again, this gives you a general location of where your mask can go. Now I move it around so I can see mine are lined up around the leaves. Okay, and then I press that down. And now I'm going to close this up so I don't get red everywhere. I'm going to use Old Olive for the bulk of the leaves. Now I have a mini blending brush for this one. I don't know why, I just did. So that I can just go right on in. Pick up a little more ink. Now when you're totally done, or if you're going to change colors, I recommend you go run this under some water. These will work fine with just a damp paper towel, but the next one that we do, I'm going to share a tip with you. Okay, so ready? Look at that. I love it. It's so easy. Okay, and this one is number 3. Like I said, I don't really think it matters. And again, this notch gives you the general vicinity, but I want to look for any, and I hope my head is not in the camera, white areas, and make sure the mask is within that. Okay, so I'm going to get my real red back out again, and this time I'm going to use a little more pressure. Now this is the one that if you wipe, you want to be careful of this one right here. I kind of bent it a little bit, unfortunately, so I'm going to be careful when I go over that one to use it the right way. All right, so, and again, you can do this as light or dark as you would like. It's just how much contrast. Now I'm going to peek to see how much contrast that is, and that's pretty strong. So we're done with that. Look at that, you get 2-tone coloring. Now I didn't do as well on that upper flower, so I'm going to put this back on and see if I can give that one a little more color. I haven't done this yet, so we'll see how well that is to put it back on and redo it. Okay, pretty good. All right, so that's mask number 3. There's one more to go. Well, actually, there's 2 more to go, but I don't really like the last one, so I'm not doing that one. And this is the detailed leaves, number 4. Like I said, this notch helps you know the direction of it and which way it should go on there. So again, this gives you a general lineup, and this is the one that I spent a little more time with making sure we line up. Now I want you to notice that there's vines also get colored, as well as around the veins of the leaf. So kind of helps, let me slow down there. The best way to line this up is to make sure all of your stems are in the mask. Okay, so as you can see, there's stems everywhere, and then I still show the veins of my leaves. So we're going to go now with the darker green, which coordinates well with Old Olive, and that is Mossy Meadow. And then I have a blending brush that I've been using on Mossy Meadow. So I'm going to ink it up. Let me give it a little swirl over here, and we'll get started. When I first saw this in the catalog, I was intrigued and I was like, how does that work? And so I got this out yesterday and started playing with it. And so I thought I'd show you. And I hope I'm not swirling the whole table. Let me get a peek and see if it's enough contrast. Down here could use a little bit more. Okay. Okay, now isn't that stunning? And how quick was that too, to color this whole flower? I'll bring it up closer. And like I said, this was just real red and old olive and mossy meadow. All right, so how do you like that? I'm going to do it one more time so you can see it again because it is so fast. So it's not going to take a lot of time for me to redo this. All right, I'm going to get back mask number 1. And again, this shows me the direction it should go and the general vicinity. And then I center that around all my flowers. And I have my red. It should be pretty inked up from the last time. So I'm just going to start real lightly and then slowly put a little more pressure on to get more color. The fun thing about this also is that you're going to get a little different color each time. Just depending on how much pressure you push. Now, doesn't that look so pink, but even though it's real red? Okay, let's get number 2, only because I'm going to follow the directions. Okay, 2, again, this notch goes up in this vicinity. And I'm going to get it centered around my leaves. It's kind of like paper pumpkin. It's like, that's a suggestion, but I like to make mine a little perfect. Okay, press that down. Get my old olive. All right, let's start off very lightly just to put a light color of green on. I like this glass mat because you can also still pick up some ink over here. Now this glass mat, speaking of this one, it is a free gift for if you sign up to be a demonstrator. And you can also just be a hobby demonstrator, which means you're going to kind of purchase for yourself and maybe a best friend or something. And in my link of this video, I also have a link of how you can sign up with me in my team. Let's see, that notch did help. I can't talk and stamp at the same time. So anyway, there's a link of how you can join under my team in this video description as well. And a special gift until the end of this month is you get this glass mat for free. Now, we're pretty sure they're going to offer this mat up to customers after celebration. I'm not sure exactly when. Maybe it's in the new catalog, but it should be available to everyone soon, hopefully. All right, so I'm going to go in with my mossy meadow. Actually, I skipped 3. I went to 4. As I said, I don't think it really matters. I got to talking and just grabbed one that I knew was next. Maybe this mat will help me not shake my camera when I'm swirling the brush. Oh, that's good. I like that. Okay, and now the detail of our flower. Let's see. Let's get it centered. Again, that kind of shows me the general area. But I want it perfect around my flowers. Okay, and now we can go with the real red again. Now, when I'm done with this, I'm going to show you. We're going to make at least one of them into a card. It's a very simple card. You know what? That's not exactly centered on that one. Move that a little bit. Okay. and I pressed down before, and I scooted it when I pressed down. Don't scoot it, Robin. Okay. Press down. Okay, let's make sure we have red. Get it going. And I also can get it going off the mask here. And then I just start the swirling. And again, depending on how much contrast you want of the detail of the flower, will decide how much ink you want. Let me peek and see if I have good enough. I'll put a little more down here. Okay, and we're going to go with that. Again, so simple. Everything is within the lines. I passed kindergarten. So isn't that gorgeous? So I have some others done in a few different colors, but I wanted to show you how that was done and how easy it is with those masks. So like I said, perfect coloring. You get the light and the dark, and it looks like you're an artist, even though I am not the best colorer. Hold on, let me put this mat away. Okay, then we can get rid of the shine, but that's why I have my grid sheet so far up, so I had room for the mat. Now, let me show you a few others I've done. One of them, I did a lot of contrast. This is why when I first got it. So if you like a lot of contrast, look at the leaves of that one. It's pretty dark. Now, I really wanted to use Moody Mauve when I got the set because it's a color I haven't used much. But then after I made one with the red, I fell in love with the red ones. But anyway, this is Moody Mauve and I believe Bubble Bath with the same Old Olive and Mossy Meadow. Okay, and here's another one I did with not as much contrast. Now, this one, I did that fifth stencil that has the center of the flowers. And I did it in brown, but I'm not a fan of that. So I prefer just letting the center of the flower be from the stamp. So you can do you. And then let's see if I have others. I think all the others I've made into cards. So I'm going to start out with one like the red one. Look at that. And I don't know if you can see, but I put Wink Stella on the flowers. Now, one thing I love about the dies is they've given us 2 of each one, and they go in different directions so that you can get direction of your leaves, and you can cut 2 at once. So I cut some of those in Mossy Meadow, tuck those in there, and then just put a few gems. I also didn't mention it has a beautiful label that fits the sentiments for the stamps, and I love this sentiment. Embrace the beauty of you. And I put this on a layer of white cardstock that's been embossed with a quatrefoil embossing folder. Okay, this one, okay, this is definitely Bubble Bath and Moody Mauve. So I did the same thing. Now, it also has these little flowers. And again, there's 2 of them. And I'm guessing it might match these. I haven't tried that. Maybe not. Maybe those are too small. But I just cut a few of those out in Moody Mauve and tucked them in and put some here on the sentiment. And again, I used my Wink of Stella for some shimmer on the flowers. Okay, then I tried to do it with some DSP. And so this is from the Thoughtful Expressions DSP in the mini catalog. And this one is Lost Lagoon and Bubble Bath and Moody Mauve. And so, and then it also has these little, now I'm not sure if these are buds. It is interesting in this stamp set, the bud is green. So I'm just saying it's completely closed. And here I just did a Moody Mauve one so I could say the bud was open. So that's my only reasoning. And again, you got to add Wink of Stella to these beautiful flowers. Okay, here's another DSP one. Now I did use a Moody Mauve and with the lemon lime twist, and it didn't look right. So I actually went back in and fussy cut some flowers and put those around that to hide the moody mauve ones. But oh, let me get more. So this is the real red done with lemon lime twist and granny apple green. And this is the same DSP pack from the mini catalog, the Thoughtful Expressions. Okay, so I already have some embossed quatrefoil tile layers, and I have a card base somewhere. I know I scored one right before the video, but I will get out my handy dandy little envelope. Now, I share this envelope with my paper pumpkin because these envelopes also store the paper pumpkin products quite more thin than the box, but they also hold my card bases that I pre-score and cut, and all I have to do is fold, and I use my bone folder to burnish the line. Oops. Okay, so let's feel this side is obviously a little bigger, so I want that on top. And then here's my quatrefoil tile. Okay, this is a full card base front. Let me see if I have one cut down a little bit. If not, we'll just use the whole front. Okay, this one's cut down a little bit to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So I'm going to use that one. I didn't tape my grid sheet down very well. Now, I have found, even though, the DSP is okay, I think it actually takes away from the flower a little bit. Maybe less DSP, a half would be good. I haven't tried that yet. But I love the simplicity of just an emboss layer with these flowers. So let me get my multi-purpose liquid glue. And I put it in this fine tip glue bottle, which is also part of my favorite things. And it helps me not get too much. So if you have trouble with liquid glue, the most common problem is using too much, because then it'll ooze out all over the place or make little bumps and humps. But if you just use a little and then kind of smooth it out, now once you get it centered, you can kind of smooth it on the flat side. You don't want to press too hard that you lose your embossing. I don't know, you'd have to press pretty hard, I guess, on that. And then our lovely flower. Now, I thought it looked best. How did I like it? Well, how did I do the other ones? I did it like that. So when we get my dimensionals out, got a little case of those. This is from when our stamps used to be in these little clamshell boxes. So, and again, I cut my dimensionals in half, the big dimensionals, and I'm just going to put some all over. You don't want to be too stingy with them because you don't want your flower to collapse in the middle or anything like that. By cutting them in half, it helps you get them all over the place. Okay, I think that's going to be sufficient. And I just give them a good press to make sure they're down, and then we can take off the backing. So how do you guys like this set? Like I said, I was intrigued when I first saw the masks in the catalog. All right, I'm going to leave room here for this sentiment. Just put that there, and then I've already cut some labels. The label is part of this set, and I have the stamps over here, and I really like this one, Embrace the Beauty of You. And just because it's kind of elegant and classic, I want to go with my tuxedo black again. And I'm going to get my Stampin' Pierce Mat because it's a photopolymer stamp. And they need just a little firm cushion to stamp best. Now, wish me luck, because I'm going to try to freehand this. And I'm just going to kind of line up the Embrace the Beauty. close that up. And there I go. I did pretty good. All right, and then we can put that there. I find that that covers up the embrace, so I'm going to put this on dimensionals above it as well. Like I said, you can make such a pretty card very quickly. And so you can try different colors with the greens and the flowers. But I really like this red, especially since the red looks a little pink when you lightly brush it on. I guess you could try cherry cobbler. It might be a little more red if you wanted red. Okay, embrace the beauty of you. And then I just have, oh, we didn't tuck our leaves. So let me get out a bunch of the leaves that I pre-die cut. So we have, let's see how they go different directions. Well, yes, because the little one, that one's high, that one's high. Okay, I thought I was going crazy there for a second. Then I have some single leaves in my little bag. And I saved scraps of paper, and I was able to get so many leaves out of just the scraps. Let's see if those go different directions. They do. Okay, so we're going to use those 4 to start with. Now on this, I like to use, this is a Tombow Aqua glue. Oh, I didn't put the lid on it, so it dried a little clear blob. Let's hope it's not clogged up. Only because when this dries, it doesn't dry tacky. So if I get some on the card, it's not tacky. I probably need to add this to my favorite things list as well. Just kind of scatter the leaves. Help fill in the card. So what do you guys think? Was it just solid? Or do you like the DSP with it? I think it actually takes away. Oh, I put that on the wrong side. Right, so there's some added leaves. And that adds even more to the card. And then I have some embellishments. I think these are retired, but any of our embellishments would work good. We have several clear ones. Even just the rhinestones would look good. So let me get my take your pick tool. And let's run some, I did pretty good filling in with the leaves. So just going to do a big one, small one, and it doesn't matter, a big one up here. All right, so that's a pretty quick but gorgeous card. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and hope I gave you some tricks of how to use that set. Again, I do have a new host code, so if you do not have a demonstrator and would like to purchase any of the products I have shared today, I would appreciate you using this host code. And any order of $75 or more of merchandise, you'll get a special gift from me. And as well, you would get to pick a free celebration through the end of this month for every $50 or $100 price point. So if you have any questions, as always, leave them in the comments below, and I'll try to get to those as soon as possible. I do have an event tonight, so I'll probably be looking at those tomorrow. And the best compliment you can give to me is share this with your crafting friends. Give me a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to my channel. So until my next video, I hope everyone is doing well and happy crafting. Bye-bye.